Okay, so it's 3:20 on Saturday morning. I don't know if you can hear the fucking rain just pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring over. Stella's snoring and snoring and snoring and snoring. And last night was so rough. I'm so tired and feel so grumpy. Um, and when you have 3 dogs, then you have different time slots that they can keep you awake. So it's like, motherfucking shit. And anyways, last night was rough. I don't feel like I got any fucking sleep. And then it is right back as soon as the rain comes of feeling like shit again. It's like, oh my God, I knew it. I knew that was going to happen. And I was like, fuck, man. And Stella, so she's up all fucking night, whining and whining. I'm sure she'll be awake at some point and whine through this. Let me think. I feel super scattered, and that's one thing too. Is if you've seen the thing on the Schumann resonance, if you've seen that chart lately, a couple days ago it started doing something different, and it's been in this different thing for days now. And I just saw somebody talking about it again, and it was weird because some of the stuff she was saying was stuff I was going to talk about, only I didn't know, about that. And so the things I was going to talk about was one of them. One of them is grounding. And people are always saying about grounding, go outside, grounding, and all that stuff. I look at grounding more different than just that. Fuck, it's hard to catch my breath sometimes. And it's hurting more again, too. So to me, the grounding is grounding your soul or your mind into your story. So it's like you got to find some place to hold on, kind of. And it's weird because I've talked about that before with how it's like all these people holding on to something. Like everybody finds something to hold on to, but it's like toxic stuff. I'm always looking over here, but there's always a shadow on this curtain that looks like a hand coming. It trips me out. It's so weird. It's hard to not look at it all the time. I know it's just one of the plants making that shadow, but it's just weird looking. Hold on just a second. I do have some tea. I'm finishing it though. And I'm out of my goat milk. And I don't know. It really adds a lot. It's like, I think it's like drinking it black or something, It's like, I like it better when it has a little bit of creamer stuff. And I was using the dried coconut milk, but then I started seeing a thing about goat milk. Goat milk has got like all the stuff that we need. It's like super, super healthy. So then I saw things saying, you got to drink goat milk. You got to drink goat milk. So I started getting goat milk. I've gotten one time. And I liked it. And I don't know if there's a big difference, because even when you're detoxing and doing all of this healthy stuff, when you keep getting sick and they keep hitting you with all this. And just yesterday alone, so when I got up, or when the sky started becoming a color, it was pink, which I just saw somebody in Oregon talking about the day after the earthquake. Now their sky is pink and it smells weird. So the pink sky must have something to do with that. Maybe it's releasing chemicals or something. I don't know. But the sky was super pink. And then I had said we didn't have any rain or anything for a few days. It seemed like maybe it was even 6 days or something. And it would look like it was blue and clear. But then when I would go out and walk with Stella, I would see him laying lines. And there was weird things, like weird patterns. But there was weird things with the lines and the colors of the lines and stuff. Like, it was weird looking. And the other day, even, I was watching one because I saw one doing it. And it was almost like putting a code. It was like, it kept blanking out, but it wasn't like the thing was doing it. It was like the sky was doing it. It was so trippy looking. I kept watching it and watching it. I was like, that is so weird. And I kept trying to see, like, is it trying to say something? It was so weird. So there's all sorts of weird ones up there around here. And so they've been doing that for a couple days, or how many ever days. The days it wasn't raining. And I don't even remember when it rained last. That's one thing too about this grounding thing I'll talk more about. But so yesterday we had pink sky in the morning. Then it was blue. Then it was then it was like fog. That's what it was. It was pink and then it went to fog. The fog, that's when I was like, fuck, man. I'm gonna get sick again now. That was fucking fog. And I was making sure I wasn't going outside, but still, there's like, you have to open the door. And whatever it is, because the fog can carry something more dense. So it's heavier particles. You gotta think about the particles and how much they weigh. And that's why I said like mucus is a carrier and stuff. I go, you gotta dry up all your mucus. That's my next thing I'm gonna hit on Stella, is I'm gonna really focus on trying to dry up all her mucus with the black seed oil and see if that doesn't make those things start to go away too. Man, it's trying to, I don't know, it's so weird. It's just weird. Like just moving around and stuff to me is just weird. Existing right now is so weird. So, so the light, so then it turned fog, and then it turned blue, I think. And then I don't know, it was like by 2:30. I think it was like by 1:30 or 2. It was so eerie outside. It was so dark and so eerie and so still. We went out for a walk, and I'm trying to think what the sky was like on our walk. And we must have went to the walk, I think around 11. And then I came back to make lunch. And then it was like 12. And so then I was cooking, and every time I cook, like it's whatever I eat, they eat, and then I've always got a whole thing to clean up, and they eat so much I can't even believe it. I mean, it's the weirdest thing. Stella has never eaten so much before. It's just nonstop. It's like at least every 2 hours, she wants like a fucking meal. And so which is just weird. Like there's something so weird. And so I don't remember, I think it was just kind of, because I was looking at the things. Yeah, it was kind of blue, and it kind of had a lot of, when the lines go thick, but then it had some weird cloud things that had vibration. Like it had a whole bunch of stuff going on. And then it had like dark lines and blue sky, like weird shit. And so that's what I was noticing. And then came back, made lunch. And then when I started looking outside, I was like, what the hell? It's so eerie. So it became super, super dark and super overcast. And then that went, I think it was like by 3 o'clock, I shut the curtains. It was like super dark outside. It was just eerie, so eerie. Every time I would look out, I felt like I was looking into a scary movie. So I shut the curtains. And let's see. Yeah, because the dogs slept until like 4. And then they ate, because a lot of times they eat at 3. I was trying to spread it as long as I could, because I put medicine in Stella's stuff, and I wanted it to help her sleep. It was like 2 hours. And then, and that kicks my ass when I get woke up, when I'm dead ass asleep. And so then so then we got up a few times. When I let her out, it was like 8 o'clock, I think. And because they went out at like after they ate and stuff, so like around 5 or something, they were outside, and just running around. But it was dark and creepy out. Stella came right back in, and then but then at 8 she wanted to go back out, and so she went out, and it was already raining, but it wasn't pouring. But I could hear, I mean, she got a little bit wet, but I could hear it. And then when she came back in, she wanted to eat again and stuff, and I was like, no, and I'm trying to lay down and go back to sleep. And it really sucked, is because I I was dead ass asleep. She woke me up. And then I lay down on the couch when she went outside, fell back asleep. She woke me up again. And then I went, let her back in, laid down, and that was it. That was fucking, the rest of the night, it was me laying there talking to myself from a fucking thing. And then on the tooth thing, so I've thought about this a lot. It's also been kind of aching. And every time I look at it and think about it and stuff, I'm always focused on that we're supposed to be healing stuff naturally. We're supposed to when our body gets damaged in some way, we're supposed to let it heal naturally. It is, and they are trying to sell us on something else, but them doing this stuff makes it worse. And the guy already told me, like, when he does this filling, which I know is going to hurt like a motherfucker. I know they're going to give me a zillion fucking shots and fill me up with all that fucking poison shit, because that goes in your system. That doesn't just go right there, numb you for an hour. No, you're fucking numb all day. That shit is leaking out probably days into your system. And I always get an extreme amount. And I know they would have to give some to pull it too. And so every time I look at this stuff, the way that it makes me feel, and then when I look at all the available screens, how I feel, always over here is like, this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be healing. We're supposed to be light. And even though it seems so crazy and stuff, but if I would have known I had Hep C before I had it, I mean, if I would have known I had it when I had it, because I didn't know I had it till I'd already healed it. If I would have known I had it when I had it, and all I can think back is that period of time when I was so sick, and I thought I was dying, and I'm thinking it must have been a part of my sickness, I would imagine, but I don't know, because it could have been at another point. I have no idea when it was. I have no idea how fast I healed it, nothing about it. I was shocked when she told me I had the antibodies. Like I said, I told her, well, I probably had this thing. And she said, there's no such thing as that for this. And I was like they have it for A and for B, I think, but not C. And so I was like, well, then, I have no idea. And she was like, well, you had to have had it. There's no way you can have the antibodies without having it. So you had to have had it, and then you healed it. She said it's rare. I think it's rare because we go to the doctor when we're sick, and we want them to figure out what's wrong with us. And then once they do, we start taking whatever it is that they tell us that we need to do. And we think that that's the right way to go, but it's the opposite of what we need to do. Because even, like he had told me, that it was like 85% chance once this is all done, once they do all this stuff, then that it's going to fail and I'm going to have to get a root canal on top of it. That already happened with a different tooth. And that one, it was fucking so fucked too. Because it was the back tooth over here. And so the backest one would have been the root of my wisdom teeth. When my wisdom teeth came in, they said they all came in crooked and they had to remove them all. Now I'm just so suspicious of the whole thing. It probably was the wisdom teeth would have probably even pushed out in my jaw, because it was like when you're healing and stuff. So I'm sure they would have made room for themselves. But because that's one thing that they are finding in evolution, that our jaws getting smaller and weaker. You can look up about it, but I think they said something about how it's to do with the wisdom teeth and stuff. So anyways, the let me think what I was saying. So the man, I was talking about the weather thing. Okay, let's go back on the weather thing. So the weather was weird, and then I woke up feeling crappy again, and throughout the thing, but also not getting any sleep, and so that was kicking my ass. And Stella waking up and not feeling good, then that always goes together. Oh yeah, there was one weird thing. It was like, I don't remember if she moved, but I got a sharp pain going up through my body. I was like, what the fuck just happened? And it kept staying there. Like, I couldn't get it to stop for a few minutes. It was the weirdest thing. I'm having so many weird experiences. And that's the thing I wanted to talk about with the grounding thing, was because like they're always telling people, you got to ground, you got to ground, you got to go outside and touch the ground. And that is one thing, but that is like a different kind of grounding. And the kind of grounding I'm talking about is more mental and emotional. And so that is one thing that I started noticing in the awakening. When you're letting go of things, you've got nothing to hold on to. And it's, it's definitely challenging, but I think it can be scary. And that's why everything's got to go in steps. You can't jump steps. You have to go on the steps to the awakening, to the development, whatever, your evolutionary steps. So you have to take the steps. You can't jump ahead and stuff. And I can see, because like, to me, having a stronger spiritual sense, because I can't even, I mean, I'm going to say a strong one compared to other people. This is stuff I hear is like, there's a lot of people that have no spiritual sense. Tons of people, like a lot of people are now calling out more. Well, this has happened a few times. And they start calling out all these love and light people, these spiritual people and stuff. And so they're getting called out again over. But I knew that was going to happen. Everything is going to be revealed. If it's fake and phony or going in the wrong direction, it's going to be revealed. Like, there's nothing that we have to do. It's going to do it itself, because that's the energy's changing. So it's like the atmosphere, it's like the what would camouflage before is no longer there. And so everything is being revealed. And so it is the shift in the energy. That's the dark to the light thing. But, oh yeah, so anyways, but you have different things to hold on to, kind of who you are and stuff. And then as you let go of all that stuff, it's kind of like you start like free floating out there in the universe or something. There's not like a lot to hold on to. So you got to become stronger in your mind about yourself and who you are and what you're doing and stuff like that. And because you can get swept up in the current and lose yourself. And so you have to use your mind to hold on to something of you. And it can be, especially when you are pulling free from the 3D thing, you don't have stuff to hold on to. That's why I said it's like a mind thing. And you have to get control of your mind, or you'll feel lost. I think a lot of people are getting kind of lost in the awakening. And it's not just about going and standing outside. It's about capturing yourself and grounding into yourself, telling yourself what you're doing and what, understanding yourself and what's happening. And so it's like a self-talk kind of thing. It's like a grounding back into you and your reality, and whatever your reality is, whatever it is you're creating or whatever. And so it's like that kind of a grounding of telling yourself like what you're doing. And I don't know how else to explain it, but like the past couple of days, it's been really, really weird to me. And I was thinking, I bet you some other people are having this, is it's so strange. And so I was going to talk about those two things, about that grounding thing. And when you don't have your identity to hold on to, you got to create one, and you got to perceive yourself. And so it's like a transition. And so, it's steps, and that's just a part of the challenging. But the this other thing too is the oh yeah, because I was like it's the weirdest thing. I don't even know how to explain it. Like yesterday I was doing something, and then all of a sudden I was like, yeah, but what was I doing on that train? How was I on that train? And then all of a sudden I was like, what the fuck? How was I on a train? When was I on a train? Where was this train? And then it was like, and this keeps happening, like fast little things. And where all of a sudden I'll remember and I'm on a train and I'm doing something and I'll have like a whole memory of this thing. And it's like, but that is not happening. Like, what is going on? And then, so I started feeling like, because it keeps happening. Like the first time you could think like, okay, well, that was weird. And which, yeah. But then when it keeps happening, I think it's also the vibration that bothers it when I talk. And I'll show you again. I keep feeling like it looks like it's healing, but I don't know. I've never watched a tooth heal because it darkens in the inside. I feel like it's like the tissue is healing, and I feel like the black hole is mending kind of. And I don't know how fast it's going to go. I keep picturing it to be healed, but I feel very, very much like that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm not supposed to be going in and getting more, especially when I have the awareness of what they're doing and putting that poison in. And then the gray stuff, the whatever it is that they put, it's not the same kind of filling stuff. He said it's softer. And that's why you have to hurry and put on one of those $1,000 things over your tooth. But the thing is when you go in and you start listening to the stuff, I don't know, like naturopathic dentist or something. I don't know, because I just run across these videos. They come to me. I don't go out looking for them, so I don't know how to find them. They just come into my orbit. And but talking about all the infections, like most people have so many infections in their mouth and don't even have any idea. Because when they go in, so they go in and drill this thing and cause more damage and cause more, I mean, they're using power tools on a delicate thing in our face, and we're not protecting it. We're going in and, you know, allowing our bodies to be treated like this. And so then they fill it full of gunk and poison and stuff, and then harden it, and then they want to put another cap on top of that to hold it all in there and protect the tooth. And what happens, and he said that it was likely that it was going to happen, that it was going to go bad, and it was 85% chance it was going to go bad after they do all that, and then I was going to have to have a root canal. And so back here, whatever it was, I can't remember, but it was like, you know, we're going to save this tooth back here. And it was like $2,000 or something at this fucking root canal. And it went bad. And then I had to have the tooth pulled. And so that is another thing here too, is like they make promises and stuff, but it is constantly, they can't follow through because your body is going to do something, just like they put those implants in. And my body rejected them. So a lot of people's body, it has an overreaction to the stuff they put in your tooth and stuff. The damage is done, and then it doesn't get to heal properly. So it just has all these infections in our teeth all around. And that is probably why some of these people's teeth keeps falling out and get sicker and stuff. And it's also weird because this one stands out to me a lot too, because I think about 2021, and then I think I feel certain that they told me about this tooth a couple times, and I didn't take it. I swear, it seems like he told me that the tooth had a filling in it, and it has this tiny little cavity, and that the filling had to be removed so they could fill this filling and then put it all in one. And then I think that he said about capping it then too. But I'm positive he had said about removing this filling, which part of this, to me, of why there can be a hole there too, is because that's where the filling fell out from, because I feel like that there was a filling there. And I feel like that my tooth broke off from that, because and that the cavity was growing inside of there. And but I didn't want to do that big thing. But throughout that time, I have been really focused on my health and doing the minerals and all of that stuff, and started having all this other healing going. The Hep C thing, that was a while ago. And when you find out like you can heal something like that, then, you know, yeah, you can sit there and think like, well, if other people are healing their teeth, I think I can do it. But it is like, when it starts hurting and stuff, it is like, oh, so that's why I'm like, fuck, if it got real bad, I probably would just say pull it, because there's no way. I mean, that is going to be brutal, all this stuff that they're going to try and do. And, and because they will go in and just drill all that tissue that's trying to grow back too. So I feel like it's meant to be, because how it all went down, how everything played out to me. When you go in and you look at how everything played out, if everything plays out for a reason, when you're trying to figure out the reason, then it's like, okay, well, that reason doesn't make any sense. That all of a sudden now they would say, now go in and get this done. It was like, it was always pushing me into this to see my own power and healing or something, so I could see that how it works. So anyways, that's kind of my thing. I'll show you. It looks like it today. Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm doing too much peroxide, like I'm overdoing it. And so I'm kind of back off and let it do more of its own healing. So I'm going to probably just do peroxide like twice a day and see what that does. But you can see like how there's like all this orange that is starting to like grow on the teeth, where like I don't know, like all the different parts of the teeth. Like it has different parts, like our skin has different, the dermis, all that epidermis and all that. And the tooth has that, but it's not as many layers, I don't think. But anyway, so I don't know. Plus I think that the little dark hole seems like it's getting smaller. So I feel like this is what I'm supposed to do, even if it seems crazy. But I've seen other people be doing it. And when I try and look at the whole thing, and then like I said, when I look at the options and stuff, I get certain feelings over different options. And the ones that are very much like, oh, that really give me a bad feeling. Man, my hair's driving me crazy as I washed it. And so it's always like, it just keeps falling. When it's dirtier, it stays back better. Fuck, I have to keep catching my breath all the time. So the tooth thing, that's where I feel now, is that the way it's played out, when I try and understand why it would play out this way and how things fell into place and stuff, then I feel like, okay, it was like my tooth was supposed to break off with that, get out whatever was in there, instead of them going in and fucking hammering my tooth and putting more poison in my body. Then and then the what was I gonna say? Now my hair, I keep looking at this little like weird thing that it keeps doing. So have it break off and then have to just grow it back. But I do feel like I'm more in a place in my understanding of our healing that I feel like I can do it, especially I've seen people that have been doing it. I think some of them out of necessity, some of them, I've seen like people who were drug addicts who had their teeth all messed up, and then they started changing their life and they wanted to fix their teeth and didn't have all the money to do that. So they started using these different things and fixing their teeth. Because I've seen some before and afters of some pretty jacked up teeth, like, or a whole bunch of teeth look like that. And when you look, here, it's like this one front part where it could even be that it doesn't grow back in the whole, maybe it just like grows back and seals itself. But anyways, I might keep showing it. I mean, if it's gross, it might be gross to some people, but it's interesting to see, to watch. But it definitely, when it starts hurting and stuff, I go into my mind and start telling my mind that it's healing and picturing it healing and stuff like that. But I am having like all these other weird pains too. And so there's something with the energy of the Schumann or whatever. So anyways, back on that thing again with the Schumann thing. So like I was having these weird things that I don't know what to call them, but it would be like I would suddenly have a memory that seems like it's my life right now, but it's not. It doesn't seem like it's a real memory, but it seems like it's real. And so it keeps happening and happening. It's really throwing me throughout the day where it's like, what the fuck is what? And then, so then I start being like, okay, this must just be a part of some kind of thing of letting go of this reality or something. Maybe it's like a bunch of realities merging or something. Like, I don't understand what's happening. And so I just kind of keep letting it go and let it go. Then this morning, but I was thinking, oh, yeah, I'm going to talk about this because I bet other people are having it and it's probably weirding them out too. So it always helps when you hear somebody else is having the same kind of situation, because then you don't feel so crazy or feel like something's wrong with you. So that's why I like to say a lot of the weird stuff, because it helps people who are going through the other weird stuff. I know it helped me when I was going through it and my awakening and stuff. And so it helps, ground into other experiences that are similar to your own, so that you don't feel so, because this is hard to hold on to. It's weird. And so in the Schumann thing, so she was like, it is weird. It's like this big white thing, and it's like got a bunch of colors and stuff, which they said I think that they said, or one of the people I saw yesterday saying, it doesn't normally have all those together the way it's doing it with the brown. I don't know, because I don't follow the Schumann thing that much. I just see these pop up. But so she was saying, like, so it's been like this for 3 days. And they were always saying, like, it could be timeline jumping, it could be this, could be that, it could be this. The energy on the planet is shifting, and it can make you feel super anxious and dizzy. That was another thing that I was going to say, too, is like, there feels like a kind of, what was it? Because it was like, well, I was awake in the middle of the night when I'm sitting there thinking about, okay, so what I'm going to be laying here, I'll think about what I'm going to talk about. And something about the vibration. What was it? I was feeling something. Because I was laying there and I was feeling like, I don't remember if it was like I could feel the rain. I could feel something. I don't remember what it was. And it was making my head feel like vibrating, kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. And I could explain it better when I was like, always when I'm in that kind of meditative kind of space or something, I can see things, like when I'm trying to think of the things I'm going to say, it's not like I can really, because I can't even remember some of the stuff when I start trying to access it, because it's like in a different state of mind. And so whatever it was that was making my head feel like this kind of feeling that I thought, like, I guess you could explain it kind of like dizziness or something. And but I was thinking, I bet you it's something with the frequency, and I don't remember what it was. I wish I could think of what it was. But anyways, so then this Schumann lady said, so you can be feeling dizziness and anxiety, especially when there's this much energy on the planet. It's going to make you feel more anxious. And I had been saying that, like, I've been feeling anxious on days, but I knew it wasn't my anxiety, because I feel good, like everything's fine for me. And I mean, I feel trapped in hell, like as fine as it can be, but I don't feel like anxious. I feel like more peaceful about things. And so let's see, the anxiety, the dizziness, and she said, in deja vu, which I was thinking, I wonder if some people are saying like deja vu, but it's like what I'm talking about, like these weird kind of things of like, did that just happen? When did that happen? How did that happen? When was that? And yeah, it's weird. It really is weird. It's like, it's like all these things happening and they're coming together or something. Like, I don't know. I don't know, because I wasn't on a train. And I when it all of a sudden came to me, it was like I could see it. It was weird. And so yeah, I don't know. But anyways, I thought that there must be other people having this. If she's saying some of these same symptoms, I would have just explained them kind of a little bit different. But anyways, so that's going on. Over by New Jersey, where they're having all these sightings of these drones and stuff now, where the cops are all involved and stuff. And so they've got all these drones, they're all different sizes. The people are so confused, and people are like, what's going on? What's going on? And then I saw a video this morning, and it was, it's happening tonight, but he's like outside. He said that the cops have all told him, stay inside. The people aren't supposed to be outside. They have no idea what's going on, but something crashed. He said, I think when those drones crashed. And so he was out in his front yard trying to show the cops way down over there. And, but he said, we're not even supposed to be outside. And then he goes, I hope it's not a killer or something. So I don't know. It can be more dramas maybe there. I have no idea. Because there was a whole weird thing over there with the drones and stuff. And some of these things are our own government and stuff. It's not, oh yeah, in the booms thing over in Idaho, those guys that were going to look, so they went and found out more about that door. And they went and pried it open, went in, and what it is a room, and it's just like a cave room with a door. And the guy who built it was like in the 60s because he thought there was going to be an alien invasion. So he built this cave room. And it's like, well, that is so weird. Because we're at the time of the alien invasion, and now they're out there finding this cave thing. And, but the way that it is set, I was thinking kind of like a dome or something. So I was thinking anything that was booming, no wonder he could hear it in there, because it was kind of like this dome thing. So wherever the booms were coming, they could hear something in there. But the booms have suddenly stopped. Over in California, on the one day, the one guy I saw talking about, he said there's already 120 earthquakes. There's a whole bunch of people who are pulling up the earthquake thing. There's a whole bunch of earthquakes going. And so there's something, there's definitely shit going on. And and who knows, you know, if it's going to be jolts, and then I'll kind of sit there for a while, and then we'll have another jolt, and then I'll kind of sit there for a while, and then another jolt. Over there in the place where they should have already started the mass exodus, they're still over there living on the ground, some of them in tents and all sorts of stuff. And now the temperature has dropped to 20 and 15. He said in 20, when you go to the area that it says it's 20 degrees, he said it feels like it's 15. When you go to the area that's 15 degrees, he said it feels like it's 3 degrees. He said it is so fucking cold out there. And people are dying too in their tents and stuff because it's so cold. They're not surviving. And it is like, I don't know what does it take. And then it, you know, 2 months in or something, and they keep on saying like, nobody's coming to help. Look at what we're having to do alone. Nobody's coming and stuff like that. Is that, okay, I guess that's their role to play, so that it really stands out to us that nobody's coming to save us. Because to me, these people should all be taking matters in their own hands and going somewhere safer, not just staying there and just, but you know, if you're going to die on your hill, then you're going to die on your hill. Like, everybody's here for whatever purpose they're here to lead. Like, whatever you do is what you're supposed to do. And it has to do with you wrapping up your soul's journey and stuff. So whatever, you know, whatever they do is, you know, I mean, it's sad. It's sad to watch. It's sad, you know, it's a sad part of the storyline. And, you know, all these people are dying and stuff. And then I saw a woman, and she was really outraged, and she was talking, and I'm not sure what state she's in, but they had put up a warming shelter in this freezing cold next to a school. And the people from the school all started freaking out. Like, they can't have homeless people over there. And then the people who are on the other side, then they are like, you know, everybody's on the verge of going homeless. What do you talk about? Most people are homeless because they're broke as fuck. They're not just, you know, drug addicts now choosing to be homeless. It's people who can't make it, that they're getting kicked out of their houses. People can't afford some of their rents. The corporations are jacking up their rents. They're putting more rules in. They're doing all sorts of shit. And so people are going homeless all the time. And then people are desperate. There's still, you know, stigma, obviously, because you have these people who are just like, you know, fuck them. That's not community. See, in community, to me, if you want to know what community is about, go watch that movie, the Jimmy Stewart Christmas one. I hear My Favorite Year, but that's not what it is. that it's I can't think of what it's called. That's a famous fucking Christmas movie. That shows what community is. And, you know, and that's where we've got to get to, where we care about one another. You know, like, oh, you don't have enough here, take mine. And, but we're at this other point in humanity where nobody trusts anybody. But look at what is, you know, the stuff that's gone down. And one thing, too, about the assassination thing that happened is that the casings were actually whole. They weren't casings where the words are written. And so somebody was saying that that was used as a calling card or a message that back in Ireland during this, I guess, is in Peaky Blinders, that they show that when they were going to go for somebody, that they would send them a BULLET with a message on it. And that was you're, you know, like you're next or whatever. So I don't know if it's going to come out that he was carrying those in his pocket to bring them to the thing. They were left there, and it was to let all of these guys at this board meeting know that you're all on the list. Like, I'm not sure, because it's all a big show. Like, the whole thing is a big show to get us to see how corrupt this stuff really is. And there's more and more stuff coming out, like the insurance companies and stuff, like, and the connections with the medical. And oh yeah, yesterday I started watching this movie. Every fucking time, it's so crazy. I can't even believe the movies that they bring to me, and that how they fit into what's going on. But the one yesterday was I think there was two. One, oh no, the one was still, it was corporate corruption, but the other one was, oh yeah, because it had Mansion. What is her name? I can't think of her name, but she her husband. Some cop comes and tells her husband just got killed. She's like, my husband got killed 5 years ago. What are you talking about? And he's like, well, this is what we found on him, and we need you to come down and identify the body. So she goes down and finds out it's her husband. So that starts her on this whole thing of like, what the fuck's going on? And what it leads to is her husband was a doctor who had figured out about the stuff that I'm talking about, that is so much money made from it, that when people get this, the CA, and which so many people have, and the stuff that they need to get, which a lot of people who have worked in medical would no way touch, is you know, like a strong poison that almost takes you to the brink. Well, it takes people to the brink. Not everybody can survive it. And so, and I've talked about the espionage and that, you know, behind the farms, you know what I'm saying, and all of the corporate businesses, and how that is like at the top of the food chain. The, yeah, the farms, it's funny, but it's farms with a PH. And so, they're the top of the food chain, and a lot of the espionage, a lot of the money is made up in that tier. And so there's a lot of crime syndicate stuff that is involved in that. And espionage, like they spy on each other. They, like, there's so much stuff. Like the company will go in and test on a town like this, and they get away with this shit, man. And so so in the movie, she goes and she hires a private detective because the cops won't help. They're like, well, we can only do a case that we are assigned to. You know, you can't just go and start investigating because you want to know. So he gave her the name for a detective who was an ex-cop, so there was still that connection. And so that they go and start doing the investigation, which leads to that. So he was a doctor who worked with, he had found a cure, and he was working with some little kid, and he was, the kid didn't have any money, and he was like an immigrant family, and the kid had no money, but the husband was just paying for all the treatment. He was paying for the kid, and the kid was getting better. And so these other people had seen what the stuff was he was using, and so they wanted it, and then they were gonna kill his wife unless he came with them. And then he had to go and he was like held captive or something by them, and it's all about this money, and he was trying to get back, and that it was a whole long story and stuff, but it all had to do with this drug, the whole crime shit around this medication and what they'll do for it and stuff. And this is what we're really living. It's not just in the movies. This is real life. And so when they put it in the movies, and I just can't even believe the movies that come to me and show this stuff. It's so weird. Movies I've never even heard of. So, so anyways, that is, see, was doing this weird thing. So anyways, that is, just, I don't know, just is constantly this confirmation. Oh yeah, yesterday I had this confirmation thing, because I was sitting there thinking about something. I don't remember what it was, and I was standing there. It was probably, maybe it was my tooth or something. I don't remember. I think it was my tooth. And I was standing there thinking about, because it was kind of aching or something. And in my head, I heard, everything is going to be okay, just trust. And at the same fucking time, on the TV, the guy said that to the girl. I've had this happen so many times, where it's just like a communication, and then they have it come right on the TV. And I don't know how it's timed so perfectly. Everything in our lives are timed so perfectly. But it's so trippy, because that's not the first time that's happened to me. It's happened to me a bunch of times, but yeah, they're telling you something, and at the same time the TV says it. So it's like, in case you didn't hear me, I'm making sure you did. And so it's like this reiteration, like, I'm telling you, just relax. Everything's going to be okay. Just trust. And that is such a consistent message I get all the time. Just trust, trust, trust. And so I'm always like working towards that. But it is work. It's not just like easy peasy. Like, this is stressful, man. It's stressful. My yard is already flooded. This morning when I went out to get wood, oh, I probably need to get more wood. When I went out to get wood, it was so flooded out there already. And, but the earthquake thing, and going to the Cascadia and stuff, once shit starts going down, like if it really goes fast like that, and we start having it, and it really hits in and start like, oh my God, it is going to be such a fucking disaster, man. Fuck. Just the goddamn fucking people trying to leave. Oh my God. And in some places too, in the most condensed parts, like I remember in California, the one earthquake in one of the highways that was above the other one fell on top of that one. There's going to be so much of that kind of stuff. And there are going to be so many people trying to get away when shit starts going down. And then there's going to be blockages everywhere, and people are going to be stuck. It's going to be so chaotic, and people are going to be so panicky. It seems like the smartest thing to do is like fucking have a backpack and drive as far as you can out towards the desert or something, and then take off by foot and try and get to Arizona maybe. I don't know, but definitely the roads are going to be fucked. Because over here, that's what gets me. Is like, I know what the congestion's like just leaving from here and driving towards Seattle, and where all of the stuff from the cyclone thing, all of that area is what was hit. And so, you know, it comes in with this tsunami and earthquakes and shit. those road, oh my God, it's going to be so chaotic. And it's so fucking many people. Oh my God, there's no way. There'd be no way for me to go out that direction. I think the roads would be broken. Roads would be clogged up. That's where, going that way is where you're going to run into people who are going to be like having weapons out. Like, well, probably not as likely around here, but there's instigators. There's people out there to instigate this stuff. So, but in a blue state, that's less likely that you're going to have those, but because most of the people who are in the blue are against them. But there's also, I don't know that we are as blue as what they try and say. Like if they're trying to keep some states more blue or something. I don't know. But I know that like if you go out, like all my neighbors and stuff, the other day I was walking and I was noticing like, okay, there's a flag, there's a flag, there's a flag. So I saw like a few flags. So it's kind of like, okay, you kind of like know which places shit starts going down, you know, which people are going to be the people who are going to be kind of, hopefully all the people will end up going on the same sides. But definitely, you know, however stuff goes, because there's a lot of people who think that the other side is bad. And so it's kind of puts you in danger. So that's why it's kind of like we got to kind of group up so that we are, I don't know, it's kind of like show more of being the majority too. Because I think there's a lot more people than what is shown. But in a blue state that you get so much hate from it. You know, just like what I experienced, like when the neighbors moved in, and even this guy, you know, messaging me and telling me, well, we can't get married if you're going to support. And I was like, I still can't even get over that. But the people across the street, like I've heard them talking smack. Like there's a lot of people who support the blue side. It's hard to believe, but yeah. And if I was on Nextdoor, I bet you it'd still be the same. Because when I went on Nextdoor, it was in the beginning of 2020. And I might have been on it from the 2019. But it was when 2020 is when I got kicked off. And because I said anything. So, and how I got targeted by this fucking Ted Royal dickhead was that I was, there was the woman, the shaman lady, she would put stuff on there. When I first started seeing it, see, I wasn't a supporter of his. And so I kept thinking, that's so weird. She's like this nature woman and stuff. Like, why does she support him? Like, it really was dumbfounding me. And so it makes me start thinking, like, is there something I'm not seeing? Like, how can this be? And so then, you know, but then I started seeing, and then I started understanding more. And so she would go on and she would post on Nextdoor. She would post a lot of political stuff that I went on and commented. Then the other neighbor across the street too, she was doing it too. And we would go on and talk on those. Well, Ted didn't like that. And so then he forced her to post in a private thing. So she was no longer allowed to post publicly. She had to post in a private group. So then, you know, those of us who were in it, then we would go in and we would talk about or share articles and stuff that was going on in the beginning of 2020. And Ted, Matt Savage, there was a couple of these guys who infiltrated into the group. That's how crazy these people are. And so they infiltrated into the group and then they start attacking us. And then, so then anything I posted, when I posted about the sewing thing, I would get attacked all the time. And then that I argued with him. And I think I made him look stupid, but whatever. He got me completely kicked off of Nextdoor. Like, that is so, I still can't even get over that. Like, you live rural, and like that to me is a big part of, like, I was never supposed to connect here. Or I don't have the connections out here of, like, I don't know, you know, what the whole thing is, but I can definitely see that I don't have the community connection out here. And I don't know what's going to happen with this community at all. Like, fucking hell. Who knows what's about to go down? Like, shit is going. And, and we are at this time where something big is about to go. And I hope it's not California falling off. I hope that's going to be, these earthquakes are going to be smaller and kind of leading in or something, so that more people will evacuate. But also we have Yellowstone going off. So we've got a lot of shit going, man. And I don't know how much of, I mean, there's places that are going to keep going underwater. Like, we have a lot of things that are going to be changing for this new world that we're going to. A lot. And I just got to keep going with the flow, riding it out, man. And it's rough. And so, to me, for sure, if I have to evacuate, I'm definitely not going that way. And now, if they get it back to winter, you can't cross over the mountain. And then if you don't have gas and stuff and you're having to walk, like, they get us all in these really fucked up situations. Like, I'm sure that's part of the problem with the people over there that are in the area of disaster still. And they keep staying there. They probably are just like, what the fuck are we supposed to do? They're probably still kind of in shock. And I don't know. I just know, like, ahead of time, that's how I keep thinking, is we got to come together in groups. And then we've got to, because we're bigger in a group, we're more protected. And then we've got to travel together in groups, and then find places that seem like, just like they did a long time ago. And then find places that seem like, okay, this would be a safe place. Let's build some shelters all together and start creating something that's safe so that we can be safe. But coming together as a group, and there's still so many people, even though there's people coming together as a group, there's still people all like, still trying to stay in their tent, trying to stay in this shelter. Like, oh, like, instead of going and trying to build all these different fucking little buildings for people, go in and build a goddamn giant fucking barn. Build a bunch of rooms. Get places where people can stay, like a goddamn horse stable or something, where you build it and you build like a kind of like a hotel or something, a place where people can have shelter so that they have some place to stay while they're trying to build their other place. But it's going to keep going. Like, this place is going to be going underwater. And that's another thing, too, with these big shakes over here, that not only is it affecting the Cascadia fault line, but it's this Madrid one, too. Because the Madrid one's going to open up. It's what's going to split the country in two. And that's all through the Mississippi. So all that area in there. And I don't know all this stuff about Asheville. I just take it as the signs of all of the poison on the ground and all the things happening, is like the universe is trying to push them in a different direction. And they're just, staying. And there's reasons, like, I'm not saying they're doing the wrong thing. Their soul has a reason it's doing the thing it's doing. And it can look like crazy to us, and it can look like, you could do something different, but they've got to do what it is that they're programmed into doing. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. And it doesn't matter. Like, even if you went and tried to say something and tell them, because I did leave a message on one guy's, I said, you guys have got a mass exodus out of there. But yesterday, like this, this is the kind of whacked out shit on the fucking thing. So there's this lady, I've never seen her before, but she had all silver hair. And so she's one of those, even her name, her bullet name, whatever the fucking thing is called, your little name you name yourself. Mine's just my name. But people name themselves. Like, you guys all have those handles, whatever they are. So hers has to do with her hair. Silver goddess or whatever it is. And so she's doing a video. I should have known. I mean, I kind of did know. But so she's doing this video of this, like, answering a question or something. And this woman is saying in the thing, gray hair is something strange. I don't remember what it was. And so the woman was like, you're always coming on here saying weird stuff. And this, I don't even understand what you're saying. I don't even understand why you're following me. I don't understand why you even look at my videos and stuff. So she does this whole thing. And so all I said in the comments was, gray hair is a mineral deficiency. That's it. Man, she lost her mind. She did a video to respond to me, and she didn't even have anything to say. All she had was a song playing in the background, making weird faces and stuff. Then all of her little weird followers start going in and saying shit to me. That's not true. They start telling me I'm a liar. I'm spreading misinformation, and I'm an idiot. Like, they're just going in hard. And to the point, finally, I just blocked her. And so I don't know if that took off my thing or what, but I was like, I'm not going to sit and listen to this shit all day. I cannot believe how resistant people are. And it's not just resistant to the gray, it's resistant to the whole concept about aging. Because, I mean, it's very comfortable if you are falling apart to sit there and go, well, I'm aging. That's just the way it happens. Like, look at everything. And one thing, too, is that this is something that I noticed in the movies. They always are trying to sell us on what somebody looks like at a certain age. They have got actresses that they won't even let them play. Like Michelle Pfeiffer, they're not going to go in and let her play a grandma, even though she's a grandma age. They're not going to let her play a grandma because she looks too damn good. And they want to sell us on, like, no, you're falling apart at that point. They're putting it into our minds. So there's actresses out there who they would say, no, you can't, you got to look like a grandma to play a grandma. And so this is how they control these people. And so anyways, they're always trying to sell us on this old version, like this old lady, this old gray-haired person who's falling apart. And at first, that seemed like, okay, well, that's just the process of living and dying. And it's just a process. But then you start aging, and then you start realizing, like, that's weird. So everybody's aging very differently. And then, so that stands out. So, okay, there's more to this aging thing. So if you take care of yourself, you don't have the same effects. Then you start getting more into the health things and stuff, and seeing like all the things you can do to take care of yourself to keep from having all these different diseases and stuff. And one thing is that after I had been talking about that carnivore diet and all these people all of a sudden saying they're so healthy now, they feel so good, when I'm saying I think it's an iron thing. And I just saw somebody talking about that the meat is the number one thing that causes cancer and the number one thing that causes heart disease. Like, eating dead flesh is going to, it's not good for you. It's going to keep putting dead cells or something. I don't know. It's a whole thing that's not good for you at all. And so it's kind of trippy. You got all these people now on this carnivore diet, but it's going to be all part of the awakening thing, because I think they're going to awaken to the fact that they aren't just eating cows. I think that's what's going to be really, something. Like, that's going to be something. Anyways, so let me think where I was. So, was this the awakening thing, the food thing? Man. Oh yeah, because that video that I saw, and she was talking about the meat is killing people, and okay, because it was oh yeah, okay, so the aging thing. So so you have, they program it into us. Then they program it into us, even the whole thing of like, because we've watched our grandparents get old and died and stuff. And which that is trippy. But my grandpa and my grandma both died like in their, like around my age, And so they weren't even old. And my grandpa, his was a heart attack. So see, they're killing him, man. And then my grandma's was a stroke. So then my other grandma, she died later in her late 70s, and she did have total white hair. And just like how my mom's was going. But it starts out here, and then it all goes, the whole thing. And it's so trippy how so many people, oh, no, it's genetic. Mine goes just like my parents. Okay. So anyways, her hair was totally white. And she drank all the time. I didn't know she drank all the time, but she drank wine all the time. So my mom talked about that. And so that would mean she's not as healthy. Plus, she had a super stressful job. She was the head nurse over a whole huge hospital. And so and I don't know if she was still working. She was one of those kinds of people. But I don't remember if she'd already retired. That would make sense, though. She retired, and it was like, I can't sit here and think all day, like, fuck this shit. But she just put herself into, like, a catatonic thing. She willed herself to die. She just died. There was no reason or anything. And it was really sad. And then people kept saying that she just died of a broken heart because she never got over my grandpa leaving her, and she never had another relationship. She just stayed sad. And she's not sad now. But anyways, the my grandma's dead because she's not sad now. Oh, and my grandpa, the one that I mean, my mom's dad is more how I look at it. He died, he was almost 100. And he just, I don't know, he, had more things wrong. But so, anyways, there's weird things because I don't know. Did I know anybody back then who was like, looked elderly at a young age? Like they started selling that, and I swear to God, I mean, you see people now in their 50s and stuff who start looking like they're an old person. And then you have other ones that look nothing like an old person. So I say it's very distinctive. It's not just one set thing. And when it's not one set thing, you have to question it more. You have to look at it deeper. Like, what's going on? How much of this has to do with our lifestyle, with our way that we look at life and different things? Like, it's more complex than what it appeared to be than just being birthed and then just going through this life cycle and then aging out and dying. It was more complex. But anyways, when you go through all this awakening stuff, and especially in the route that I went, where I was taken down this health journey and the minerals and stuff like that, and you start seeing how things start reversing, and you start seeing it so differently. And so then you start realizing like aging is something they're creating, and people are just buying onto it. And when you're buying onto it, it's because you're not taking care of yourself. It's just like, oh, well, I can eat that. I'm getting older anyways. Who cares? And people stop caring. They stop caring about what they look like. They stop caring about, that's the biggest thing. First off, they stop caring about what they look like. It becomes some point where they just are like, who cares? Some women do it after they have their kids. Like, and I wonder if some of the people who gain a whole bunch of weight while they're pregnant, if it doesn't have to do with more emotional pain. And so it really is stuff that they need to work on emotionally, especially because it's very stressful to have a baby, and especially if you have needs. And most people in this world have amount of needs that they can't handle because they haven't healed. And so they're overwhelmed by their own needs, much less to bring on a whole nother person's needs. So anyways, I just wonder if a lot of people don't gain weight during pregnancy and then they don't lose it just because they just kind of give up. But it's kind of like the stress and their own emotions is kind of keeping them trapped. But so then they just will accumulate it onto the aging. Everybody just, anything that goes wrong. Well, I'm getting older. Well, I'm aging. Well, this is getting old. All that. It just becomes like like it's a surrender. I swear to God. And you just don't realize it that much and how much people do it. And then when you try and tell any of these ladies with the silver hair that is a mineral deficiency, like the one lady who I told, she was like, she didn't care. She'd rather have silver hair and but then she ends up breaking her foot, which I guess she's out of the wheelchair now. But you know, and who knows what more is going to go. I mean, she had to have a whole surgery and stuff from stepping down off of this curb thing. And, but that has more to do, well, she already said she didn't exercise and stuff. So it has more to do with lack of exercise, losing her core, even though she's small and skinny, she's not healthy and not having minerals. Yeah, it's going to pull from your hair. Once your hair's silver, I mean, it's going to obviously be pulling from your bones and your organs. And then they're going to tell you you're aging. So that is like, no, it's your mineral deficiency. And, but you try and tell any of these ladies and they go fucking crazy. I cannot believe how this lady became so belligerent towards me over it. And she did a video trying to like make fun of it, me saying it. And I'm a total idiot. I would be saying, and then I even had a video on my playlist of a doctor talking about it. And so I, whatever that's called, copy and pasted their thing, like, so that a couple of them that were saying, you know, I was making this shit up, could see this doctor explain it. And that didn't matter. That it's like the people who are, yeah, the deranged syndrome, they are stuck in derangement syndrome. They can't hear what you're saying at all. They can't have any logic or anything because they got to play this out. There's a lot of these women are going to play through on this hair thing, that they're out there trying to show like, oh, look at my beautiful silver hair. I'm so gorgeous. Aren't you guys all so jealous? Like, look how great I look with my silver hair. And then what, you know, it's like dead man walking, dude. So, but they don't know that yet, you know, because they just pile on makeup and would do their fancy silver hair and go out like the silver goddesses or whatever. There's a whole fucking group of it. And you can't say shit because they are, you know, you're a stupid idiot if you think aging isn't real. And it's like, well, I don't think you're a stupid idiot if you think it is. So, because I've seen the evidence and I'm not just making it up. I wouldn't just say it if I was like, I've seen the evidence. And, you know, if you take care of yourself, and at this point of how far you are into your aging is going to make a difference. You know, it's going to be very different for people who haven't really started aging yet to pull it in and not stop the process. But for people who have already been going through the process of not taking care of themselves and letting their body deteriorate, they're going to have to, if they want to make changes, they're going to have to do something to change it. They're going to have to start taking care of themselves. But there's going to be a distinct difference. When the lights come on, you watch and see, there's going to be like a whole group of people that are going to be, you know, like a comparison wise, like when they show the health minister or whatever, that one guy that we had, the trans guy who looked like McConnell and with long wig on or something, that guy, girl, person, that they, them person, that was way overweight and stuff. And then you look at RFK Jr. and they show him, they don't even show him with a shirt on. They got him out there with a shirt off. He's got a six-pack. He's all muscly. It's going to be, and what is he? He's probably 15 years older than this lady. And so this is where it's going to start showing, like, if you take care of yourself, you're not going to have the same effects. And and there's going to be more people are going to start with the copper and stuff. There's going to be more is going to be found with the minerals and stuff. Because I'm telling you, there's going to be something with this carnivore thing and the iron. There's going to be a part where people are going to really start understanding about the minerals and what their body needs and how to better take care of their body. But yeah, there is going to be a lot of people who have been aging just because that's what they told us. Oh, well, that's aging. But really, it is like you just stop taking care of yourself. You just call it quits. And you just call yourself getting old and you don't matter that much anymore. And so many too, because this is always in movies too. And I just saw one where it was these women and they're always saying, well, you just become, what is it? It's it's not like, it's like nobody even sees you anymore. What do they call it? It's like nobody sees you. You're just like not non-existent, because you're no longer young and good looking or something. So you're just, a part of the wall. Just walk right past you like you don't even exist. And uh, the women who so there's a lot of women who feel like they're not seen anyways, like that they don't care about themselves. And the thing is like, you could switch that, and you could go out, like, you could make yourself be seen. Like, I'm seen everywhere I go. Well, I'm not saying you have to go cover your body with tattoos, but you can put yourself out there and be seen. It's like the people who aren't being seen, they're putting themselves kind of in the shadows. They're blending in. They're not standing out anymore. They're kind of, like, oh, I'm just blending into the shadow. I'm getting old. Who cares about me? There's an attitude. That's what's got to change. I kind of like Sharon Stone keeps standing out in my mind, even though she's like one of the, I'll move, I hate these conservatives or whatever, but still her kind of like over the top, I go, oh, like a fur coat over my shoulder. Like, you could go out as a woman like that, stand up and be proud of yourself. Walk with your head up high. People are going to notice you. People are going to see you. You're not going to completely disappear. I think people disappear is because that they start just giving up on themselves. They just want to blend in. They don't want anybody to notice them. And they don't want to be seen and stuff. So anyways, it is kind of go out there, and you still want to see that you have value. Go out and give yourself value. Don't just go like and disappear, because that is what happens. It's like people don't realize it's you who's doing this stuff. It's not just like society. And our society does make shifts and stuff, and they don't value older women as they do younger women, which is the most absurd thing when you think about it, because who has all of the knowledge? It's not the younger women. The younger women are more susceptible to being manipulated. And I think that's a part of the problem, is because there's so many men who it's like they can't go toe to toe with a woman, because they don't feel good enough about themselves or something. So they need to go with some little girl so that they can feel like that they're a man or something. Like, there's something weird about it, because a grown man should be able to meet his match. It should be able to be equal. And so, when I see these old guys and they are going with these really young girls, and then it makes these older women feel bad about themselves. It's like, these guys have got issues. Why would that make you feel bad about yourself? Guarantee you, if you go out into the world, you're going to find some guys that do appreciate having a conversation and talking about real things and stuff. And it doesn't always even have to be sexual. Like, when I was going out after my awakening and stuff, and I was going out and doing stuff by myself, I would go out dancing and stuff. I've sat and talked to people about things, and had great conversations. One night I was sitting there talking to, I don't remember if it was one or two of these gay guys, and we were sitting at the bar. I'm just talking, and talking about this really deep stuff, and it was like, maybe it was one guy, I can't remember, but anyways, we're having this greatest conversation. It was really deep and everything, and then just see ya. It's like things don't, like the people that come to you are there for a reason. Enjoy that moment in time, but you don't and then that one too was like, that conversation was because I put myself out there. I said, what I believed. I think somebody said something, and I said something that was a little weird, and then they was like, what? And so then, you start conversation. But a lot of people hide their weirdness. They don't want people to know they're weird. They want to just blend in. They don't want anybody to notice. So that's where you got to start, being willing to stand out. Be willing to put yourself out there. Be willing to be seen so that you can, uh, it's kind of like finding yourself, because unless you are going to put yourself out there, be willing to be seen, that you're hiding. And why are you hiding? What are you hiding from? Is it's someplace in you where you don't feel good about yourself and you feel insecure about yourself. Otherwise, that you would be able to just put yourself out there. And so it's important to all your different things to always be questioning yourself, trying to understand yourself. Like, why am I doing this? What is this? What is this accomplishing? How is this working for me? And you know, like my ex, when we were on that walk that one day, and we were out walking the kids, and then we had kids, grandkids, all these dogs, and we're out walking on this hill thing, in this park. And him and I are towards the back. I'm always at the back because Stella's slower. And so we're walking, and he started talking something about being older and being invisible. And I was like, man, I don't have that problem at all. I think more people fucking notice me now than did before, which I mean, I just was one of those people anyways that had people always looking. And now I see it more as like, oh, I think it was a vibration thing that people would notice or something. But, you know, it made me uncomfortable always. But I had other people pointing it out to me all the time. And I was aware of it. Like, I know, like, if I walk through the mall, like, everybody's going to turn. And so, so I just wouldn't be looking, but other people who would be with me would be looking and remind me. And so, so I always had that kind of thing. And I know that's uncomfortable for some people. It is uncomfortable to have people look at you, especially when you don't know why. It makes you feel like, you know, am I walking funny? Do I have a booger in my nose? My hair look funny? Like, it makes you really feel weird. And so the, but anyway, so he said about being invisible now. And I was like, you know, that's not the case for me. And, but when I think about it, like, he did start just like blending in, like all the old guys, and they all get this hat. They all start wearing the same kind of clothes. It's like, yeah, it's like if you see one, you see them all. But then you go and put in like Mr. Target Santa, have him walk through the room. You're going to have everybody turning and looking. So where you want to go with it? You want to go and start being like, fuck, I'm going to go start looking like Target Santa. I'm going to start taking care of myself. Or I'm going to just be like, yeah, I'm getting old. I'm going to put on, yes, yeah, let him go. You know, it's everybody has got their own choices. And it's so much part of our programming of how we see age. And how we see, you know, like, there's lots of people who think like, fuck, I'm doing so fucking good at 70 because they're still out working and taking care of themselves and stuff. But there still is, there's still something missing, because people just don't realize like this whole aging thing is made up. And the thing about the minerals and the poisoning us and stuff. So there's a lot of still pieces that have to be put together for people. And people like that who have been taking care of themselves and valuing themselves still, they'll have an easier time making that turn, and to be like, fuck, I just need to start taking minerals. I need to start raising the vibration in my house. Because that's an important thing too, is your vibration around you. Like, and they want to keep people in these toxic buildings all day working and have low vibration, and then put people into the streets. I bet you that they are pumping some kind of frequency during rush hour that just stresses everybody out, makes everybody feel tense. Like, I just got to get home. I got to get home. And it just causes chaos, because that's what they do. And then they'll watch. That's why they're watching from their helicopters above, is to watch how we act. And this area, look at what happens to this one. Look at this one. And because they're always watching all this shit. And then they see, oh, this area, there's more tension here. Well, why do you think there's more people that have tension here? Let's see. What if we do this? What if we do that? What if we, you know, there's just this constant thing that we're always under attack, because we're living in this lab thing and we're being watched all the time. And the good thing is, the good news is that it is ending. Like, this is all the end of it. Like, now we're going to go towards the part where we're going to be free. But there's also, you know, it's sad because it's like freedom's not for everybody. It's like everybody's not here for this. And so it is like how Donald has said a bunch of times, the ending's not for everyone. And it's sad because it's like, fuck, man, there's so much shit going and we don't know who's the everyone. Like, but is you got to remember though that this is the death thing is just out of the game. You're just leaving this little game, and you know, and who knows what else has got to go in this game? Like, what more we got to go? I saw some fucking person talking. What was it? I think they were reading something out of the Bible or some fucking thing, and they were saying like a couple of things that they said that stuck out to me was the Madrid fault line is going to split or the America in half. It's going to become some kind of a civil war of violence, and it's going to in cities and stuff. Like, there was so much violence and stuff. And I was like, this sounds like what they talk about with the tribulation. And so that's the thing where my mom is always like, oh, you don't want to be here for the tribulation. No, I'm going to be raptured. You know, if you would have said you like Jesus, you know, you could go. You could still go. You were baptized. But you got to say the magic words. And it's like, I'm not going to say the magic words because I don't believe that. And that to me is having a lack of integrity. And then, but this tribulation thing, if that, you know, and I don't know. I know that there's going to be some violence. There's going to be some tumultuous activity that's going to be going down. There's going to be chaos from these different places ending. There's going to be places that are going to be ending, just like Asheville. Or, no, there was other place like Chimney, or was it Chimney Rock or something? There's a few places that were just wiped off the planet. Their zip code's gone. Every place that was in that zip code is gone. So there's going to continue being places that are just wiped out of this this reality. This you know, it's the ending of it. And so it's going to keep on ending, and there's a lot of stuff. And so anyways, it is, you know, scary to be going through the ending of something. It's kind of funny, really think about it, to know we're going through the ending of something, but don't be scared. Especially when they've told us our whole lives. I don't know. I think they're trying to get us to fear death and fear going to hell for the rest of your life. But really, you know, when you come out of the thing, you know, you're met with all of your friends and people who are your vibrational soul people, and you're met with a lot of family, a whole bunch. It's like a reunion. So you go into this giant reunion, and then you go into your life review, and then sometimes, depending on how traumatic and how you are with your stuff, sometimes you have to stay in this realm, like a healing realm. And it's like, I always think of it as kind of like this purgatory, but it's like a realm before you get to go into the other one. It's like a releasing realm. It's like release the character that you were and let go of all of the traumas and stuff. But the thing is like we carry them forward. That's what we're doing right now, is releasing so many of them. Oh yeah, there was one that was, oh yeah, because I was getting these different visions of these different lives of mine. And in so many of them, I just participated. And there's so many of our lives that we just participated. We just did, you know, just did whatever. And then the one where it was, where I was carrying the water, when I saw her, it was different. Like, she was doing something different than these ones. And I can't remember now because I was in this other state of mind. But it was something very significant. And then I was thinking, well, what about all these ones that I'm here, that I'm living and stuff? And the one of being some kind of a tribe person, then that one was coming and was showing me, oh yeah, because each one was coming with a word. Each one was coming with a word. I can't remember what the word was, but with that one, it was avenge. And with the tribe one, it was avenge. So I'm here for this, for this avenge for what had happened before. And it's not revenge. This was something that was coming specific. So it's not revenge, it's avenge. It's like changing it. And so what went down before now is to avenge it, to change it, to speak out about it or whatever. Like I think a lot of the things that went on for a lot of the different tribes and stuff, that they were massacred and killed, and there was nobody to do anything. And oh yeah, and there was another thing too that was kind of weirding me out, because it was like all of these dark people that were always here, and then once the white people started coming, and now they would look at them as like these people are lacking color. And how it went where they were the majority. Like, it's the strangest thing is how this introduction of these pale people, and how that they didn't, I don't know, the whole thing is weird. It's just weird, because you would think it would go the other way, like that we would be the ones that would be in the ghettos and stuff. But that's on a higher influence, a higher tier of control, that is able to take a small percent of people and move them to the top. And then you get the arrogance in these people, and that's one thing that's going to have to be knocked down big, is the arrogance of these people, thinking that like homeless people are below them and stuff. That's where there's going to be this like the great equalizer. Like the awakening is going to be like the great equalizer. It's going to make people realize that we're all equal. And so and that it's all of us that need to come together, that's what we need to be doing. We need to be coming together and helping one another and caring about one another. And anyways, I just was having the neighbor come into my mind again. It's like, I don't know, am I neighborly? Like, oh man, the woman who gave me every year, they always give me this Christmas present. This year I was thinking, I'm not even going to, last year I made bread and cookies and stuff. And then I felt like, the people I gave it to, I felt like that I was like, they didn't really think that much about it. To me, I was like, this is what Christmas is more about, just making things and giving them to people. But anyways, but I don't know. I mean, could have been where people thought, oh, that's so cool. But they always buy me this stuff. So they gave me this Godiva Advent calendar thing. So I started looking it up yesterday, trying to see like, how much are these things? And some of those I was finding was like 50 and 60 bucks. I was like, surely they didn't spend, like, surely it was like 20 bucks or something. Like, but there's still this part of me that's like, you got to be in receiving. You don't have to always be like, oh, will you give me this, so I'll give you that. Because I had already set it in my mind. I don't want to do anything for this Christmas. Like, I'm going to give my kids money, because then they need it, if they're still doing Christmas. And so they got to buy their kids stuff and Christmas, all that. But the rest of it, I was like, oh, I'm not putting any decorations, nothing about it. I don't care. It's a consumer bullshit. And I guess even Target now, Netflix is a new documentary out about it, and the manipulation or something with the consumerism or something. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I just saw somebody's reaction to it, and they were pissed. They're like throwing their tree. They're like, this is it. I'm fucking done with this shit. So I don't know. But this is what's going to keep happening. We're going to have to keep seeing this other side of ourselves, and then seeing the manipulation. And so, it's all about this healing. It's all about this awakening. It's all about this growth. It's all about this change, this evolution. And for those of us who are here to evolve, some people are here to just come in for this experience, get what they can to learn and grow, and then move on out of this realm And I don't know, there's going to still be, I'm not saying that people are going to leave him, we're never going to see him again, because there's still going to be people who are going to come into this realm once we change the realm, once we get into the new realm, once we get out of this hell that we're in. That's what it feels like. We're in fucking hell already. Can't believe there's people who think that there's something worse than this. Like, God, this is fucked, man. Like, yeah, I don't know. There's, but you just gotta make the best of the day. Even when, like I'm feeling like shit and going and taking them for a walk and stuff, I just keep thinking, man, if she was gone, I would be wishing that I just had one more day to walk her. And so it's kind of like trying to learn to live on the idea of like, if I didn't have it, or if this wasn't here, how would I feel? It's like you got to have the appreciation of what you have right here and right now. And even if it's, in hell and they're fucking battering us with storms and sickness and you feel like shit, is whatever. But you just got to find something to hold on to that makes you feel happy. And definitely for me is like every day that I have with Stella gives me another happy thing. I do gotta say something about Archie. He is a crazy, poor Max. Like, Archie gets it in him. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like a pug thing or something. He gets so whacked out. It's like, I don't know what goes on with him, but all of a sudden he just wants to pile drive fucking Max nonstop. He just will not leave him alone. His eyes start bugging. He starts going crazy. His whole face changes into this like, what was that movie called? If you put water on him, that wasn't the Goonies. It was the Groomies. No, it wasn't the Groomies. It wasn't the Goonies. It was the something. Some little creatures. I can't think of what they were called, but and you put water on them and they turn into little monsters. That's like what he turns into. He turns into this wacko. And to the point where he would not leave Max alone. No matter where Max was laying, he would come up, jump on his back, and just be going to town. Max was getting so sick and tired of it. He's coming and trying to get under my legs and hide from him and everything. It's like, God, this little Archie is a little terror. I don't know. He's a terror, but he's quite a character. And he is, and he does listen better. I mean, Max does have an attitude on the listening. When you tell him to do something, it's still always like, you have to pick him up and move him and stuff. Archie will get up and go and do things. So, I don't know. They're so cute together, too, because they are always when they go outside, they stick right next to each other. And I don't know, it's cute. And Stella is kind of just burnt out on a lot of things, and she just keeps laying on the porch, like, I know she's not feeling good, but so that's going to be my next thing is I'm going to really try and hit it with the black seed oil. She just finished another round of the horse paste, and so I'm going to take a break on that. I'm going to just go in on the black seed oil and see if I can't dry up the mucus, and if the mucus doesn't dry up, then that stops the train for all this stuff to be moving on. So all of the fungi, bacteria, whatever the fuck that they're fucking giving us, that it needs the mucus to move around and stuff. So if I can dry up the mucus, then it kind of dries up the other issue, I think. So anyways, I'm going to try that and see how that goes. So I've been talking plenty long enough. Hopefully I said something that helped somebody. There were some more things that were coming into my mind. And then plus, I don't know, it's so weird because I think I can see it. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute. I was like in meditation or something. It's always, because I'll feel like I'm completely awake and aware and can remember all this stuff. But then when you go into there and then you come out, it's like, oh, but wait a minute, I can't remember. What was it? What was it? It's so weird. It's so choppy. But anyways, maybe I'll remember it better later. But there is lots of weird shit going on. And it is going to make you feel very destabilized and stuff. So grounding into yourself, grounding into your story, your identity, and especially as you're letting go of all this false identity. So anyways, that to me is important. But it's not as important as what we're really doing here is learning how to love ourselves, love everyone, and how to have a loving day, because it's totally up to you. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.